Welcome back to Bash Bros in episode 89 of Notorious Pro Wrestling, the TEW Let's Play series, where we find out what exactly would happen if Conor McGregor started his own wrestling promotion. The We Rise pay-per-view has been and gone, and we continue to barrel through the start of 2023 in-game year. The next pay-per-view coming up is the Obsession pay-per-view at the end of this month. But it has been a week or two since you lot have been here. So let's take a look at what has been missed. January week 4's Wanted, the Fallout show for the We Rise pay-per-view. On the pre-show, Easton Reese warned the Prestige to stay out of his business for the rest of the P12 tournament. And then later on that night he lost. And after that, Reese and Aldous met on the stage and shared a look. They shared a look, a nod, if you will, as they maybe come to some sort of understanding. And the reason behind that is Aldous has realised that you are more likely to catch a bear with honey than vinegar. Is that the saying? I think that's the saying. So that's why he has been helping Easton Reese instead of attacking him and berating him like he has in the past. Try and swing him back around to his way of thinking and to officially join the Prestige. Speaking of the P12, Stevie Boy got a win. Fuck me. How about that? This was due to a distraction from Vicky Haskins and Kip Sabian. Continuing that three-way feud between Ace, Mark and Kip, even though Kip and Vicky had an affair. And that's not kayfabe. In game, that actually happened. I think I did talk about that. We'll talk about that a bit more and the plans for that going forward once we get to the storyline recap, as we haven't done one this month yet. So yeah, Haskins then cut a promo saying that he is hurt after the attack from Kip Sabian and Vicky Haskins, but he is still determined to compete in the P12. But those injuries catch up to him, and Will Hobbs is able to secure the win and 3 points over Mark Haskins. And in our main event, Carlos Romo, former Rev Pro champion, was called up by Conor McGregor to try and take NPW title away from the Bastard Pack. But he failed, and Pac retained in a good main event, a 71 rated match there. Post match then, Conor came out and was like, I've been doing this wrong. I have been trying to look at NPW's past, Notorious Pro Wrestling's past, and find someone to beat you, but what I need to do is look at your past. And Conor McGregor announced that Kenny Omega will face for the NPW Championship at Obsession. Yes, he's finally going to debut after, I think we've literally had him for months and months and months. We've had Kenny Omega, I haven't used him, so yay, finally. So all in all, that was a 71 rated show. Not bad at all. Before we launch into our storyline recap, I'll do a very quick overview. There's not much news to talk about, but there's a couple wee tidbits are worth throwing in there. Lots of breakups. Lots of breakups. It's not good, lads. Not a good time to be in a relationship. Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, who currently works for us, has broken up with Sarah Del Rey. God damn it. You hate to see it. And Mike Bailey has broken up with Vita Scott as well. And then also cheating. God fucking damn it. Yes, Leon Ruff and Scarlett Bordeaux had an affair. Scarlett, I believe, broke up with Karrion Kross before that. Break up January of last year. And then had an affair with Leon Ruff of February of this year. I mean, you can't say she has a type. Those are two very different lovers. Leon Ruff and Karrion Kross. Fuck me. But that's really it. There really has not been a lot. We did do a group of Rev Pro tapings in the time that you guys have missed, but nothing really happened. We were kind of just continuing through the storylines. No big title changes or heel turns, face turns, or anything like that. Tim Storm signed with Impact, but that was only a one-night deal. Yeah, just not a lot happening in the world of professional wrestling in the Notorious verse. Okay, sorry, one more thing before we get into the storylines. P12, still currently ongoing for the Intercontinental Championship. Here's how it looks. Sonico and Easton Reese are co-leaders of Block A, followed by joint second Ray Phoenix and Miles Kamen, and then coming in last so far, Davey Boy Smith and Joe Henning. And then looking at Block B, joint first are Claudio and Kip, followed by joint second place Will Hobbs and Stevie Boy, and finally coming in with a point apiece at the bottom, Ace Austin and Mark Haskins. Okay, now we're on the storylines. So, let's start from the bottom and work to the top. CCK versus Epitaph. This will wrap up in the next month or so. This was to give CCK a bit more momentum and give Jonathan Gresham, who is probably our best pure in-ring worker, something to do. CCK will kind of win this feud, and then Gresham will go on to challenge for the IC title against the winner of the P12 tournament. Because as I mentioned, the Intercontinental Championship will be kind of a workhorse title. All the workers who are very, very good in ring but not quite cutting it on the mic, that is who this belt is for. Jonathan Gresham is currently injured, both kayfabe and in real life, but it's not a big injury. He'll be back in the next couple of weeks, and then we will wrap up this feud. Then the P12 tournament, not much to discuss on this that hasn't already been said, I suppose. Say it's going along nicely, and we'll hopefully have the finals at the Fear No Man tournament. The Dynasty split up, so this has changed a wee bit. The original plan was for the singles matches, so Joe versus Davey and Zia versus Tessa, to take place at the next pay-per-view, Obsession. However, Tessa has announced she is pregnant and will be leaving before that. So the blow-off match for Tessa and Zia will happen this week. Joe and Davey over the next couple of weeks, or at the pay-per-view, I can't really remember. And then Zia's still going to go down to Rev Pro. I just think she needs a bit more time down there to kind of build her consistency up. Tessa will then get kayfabe suspended just for the duration of her pregnancy. Davey Boy will then join the British Wrestling Embassy as a part of that faction, and then finally Joe Henning will kind of just become a mid-carder for a bit until Tessa comes back and reforms Dynasty, and it's pretty much Dynasty 2.0. But he will be getting a new manager in the form of Tully Blanchard, who will be the mouthpiece of Dynasty going forward, since Natalya has turned face and will be going with Davey Boy. Oh, I don't even want to talk about this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so the original plan for this was that Kip would seduce Angelina Love and Vicky Haskins. Well, he technically did. Jesus. But then the valets would go back to their respective wrestlers, and Kip would actually then end up joining Jake the Snake Roberts faction after he kind of starts doing his underrated gimmick, you know, the crazy cardboard box in the head sort of shit. That's not happening now because Kip Sabian porked Vicky Haskins behind Mark Haskins' back, and has caused a whole bunch of drama. So what is happening now will be Vicky will be staying with Kip as his manager, and Kip will no longer be joining Jake the Snake Roberts. He doesn't need two managers. Angelina Love will be going back to Ace Austin, and Mark Haskins, God bless him, I'm just going to send him down to Rev Pro permanently. I know it's such a dick move, because he did nothing wrong, he got cheated on, but to kind of keep the locker room morale up. Obviously they all have tension with each other now, hatred towards each other now. So yeah, Mark will go down to Rev Pro. Vicky is actually currently in Rev Pro as a manager, so she is involved in the Sanitarium versus Kanji storyline. So she will actually be written off of that too. Kanji will finally get her comeuppance against Sanitarium and put her through a table or something, just to write her off. And then Sanitarium will continue as a faction without Vicky, and she will become exclusive to Notorious. Mark will become exclusive to Rev Pro. There'll be no penalties at all. Marley Quinn versus Mary Dobson versus Maki Ito. So, Next big road stop is that Mary Dobson will be turning face again and reforming the Barbed Wire Dolls with Marley Quinn. They will then feud with... they will be faces, as I said, but then they're going to feud with Maki Ito and either Maiko or Riho. We'll see which one I go with, leading to one more title match between Maki and either Marley or Mary, just because the whole thing is Maki Ito can't beat Mary Dobson, essentially. That's kind of the underlying storyline on top, which is beneath the major storyline of Marley Quinn reuniting with Mary Dobson. After that, Mary Dobson and Marley Quinn will feud with Jake the Snake Roberts' replacement for Mary, which will be Raven Creed. Going to give her a bit of a push. Raven Creed, I think, will be a good mid-carder for us. Don't think she will be quite as good as Mary Dobson in that role, but you know, I still think she's a good worker, and like I say, she has more than earned her right to graduate from the jobber status she's currently doing. The Prestige versus Aussie Open. So as I said, Easton Reese will kind of very slowly come around to properly joining the Prestige and falling in line behind Nick Aldis due to reasons. And the Prestige, once the Prestige are kind of a unified faction, that is when Aussie Open will drop the belts to Grizzled Young Vets. Aussie Open dual champs, Rev Pro and Notorious. So yeah, I just think we did Grizzled Young Vets pretty dirty. They were our first tag champs, and I think they only got like a few months with the belts. Yeah, I just think they deserve the belts. That's just my opinion. Don't know who the next challengers will be after that. Oh, and sorry, yeah, we are also giving the Velocities a bit of a push now. So they are our current face jobber tag team. That is no longer the case because they're scoring like 60s in squash matches. So yeah, that's really good. Far too good for a jobber team. So they are going to kind of get a bit of a push here, and the Billington Bulldogs are going to drop back down to being our jobber team. Kings of Wrestling Reunion! That was cringe. Yeah, so there's kind of two storylines intermingled in this. So this all started with Jay Lethal trying to get a muscle, an enforcer, with his big and bad Battle Royale. Cesaro won that, refused. Will Hobbs, who was, I think, runner-up in that, also refused, and that has led to Lethal hating both of them, and that will then lead to Lethal injuring Will Hobbs and sending him down to Rev Pro. Will Hobbs, very good worker, but he can be better, and we have a severe lack of heavyweights in Rev Pro. And I also, with Carlos Romo being down there feuding with the Notorious currently, you have Carlos Romo and Will Hobbs versus Nathan Cruz and Rob Lynch of the Notorious. Other part then of this storyline is the return of Claudio Castagnoli, and his friendship with Chris Hero has led to James Storm becoming a little bit jealous and turning has he turned heel? Has he turned heel, or are we turning James Storm heel? We are turning James Storm heel tonight. That's what we're back for. See? So James Storm will be turning heel, and then he will kind of reluctantly partner up with Jay Lethal to take on the Reuniting Kings of Wrestling, which will happen 2 pay-per-views from now. And then finally the Connor Desperation storyline. So I keep saying so. This is wrapping up this month. Kenny Omega is going to win the belt from Pac at the Obsession pay-per-view. that's what's happening. Kenny is one of, if not the best workers in the game. We are a performance-based product. It just makes sense that Kenny is the face of our company going forward for a bit. And then the next feud is going to be Kenny Omega as champion versus AJ Styles, who we signed not long ago. To kind of continue on, obviously, when Kenny usurped AJ as the leader of Bullet Club. Just to continue that on. And I think I said this before, I don't think that's been done in any company since. Like, that fallout has never been addressed between the two, because I don't think they've ever been in the same company since. Yep, so Connor's Desperation will wrap up this month, and then the new feud for that going forward will be Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles, which will be so good. Alright, so that is the news covered. That is the storylines covered. That is the P12 covered, and that is what you missed since the last time you guys were here. Only thing left to do then is book the show, so let's do that then, shall we? Okay, and we are back, coming at you from the Liquid Room in Scotland. It is Thursday Night Wanted. Only thing really that was a bit of an issue when booking this show was the angle here with Storm accusing Hero of changing since Claudio arrived. That was actually supposed to be on the main show, but due to continuity, that's the best way to describe it, I had to remove it for probably actually lesser. Like, it'll perform quite well, but there's other ones here that just won't perform as well. But unfortunately, you can't have a beatdown before the match happens. You know, post-match beatdown happens post-match. Alright, let's start the show. Backstage, James Storm says Chris Hero has changed since Claudio arrived in Notorious. He didn't jump over the rope during the Battle Royal like they agreed they would, and he immediately went for a title match after James had lost to Pac. James then gets in Claudio's face, blaming him, but Hero tries to play the peacekeeper. It doesn't work. 59 rated segment. I forgot to make them all follow a script, and Claudio was penalised for it, but 59 is not bad. Next up backstage then, Jen informs Zia Brookside about a fatal 4-way happening at the Obsession PPV for the Women's Championship. Maki Ito is obviously already in, she's the champion, and number one contender Crazy Mary Dobson also in, but there will be 2 qualifying bouts tonight. Zia versus Tessa and Mad Marley Quinn versus Maiko Satomura. 46 rated segment, it's fine, it's okay. Then in a pre-show match, Chris Hero just beat the shit out of Ken Malmsteen in a squash match. 55 rated, it was grand. 65 from Hero, 33 from Ken. It's what you would expect. And on to the main show. In a superb match, Lyco's Jim drew with the NIC, followed a double countout when both teams just started fucking kicking the shit out of each other. 63 rated match, so Junior had a 61, Lycos had a 62, great from both of them. Carter and Oshin then both a 58, which is good for them as well. So yeah, I say they just kind of get really into each other and just start attacking each other, ignoring the rules, and the match is pretty much called off. Post-match then, Agents and Aussie Open come down to break up the 2 teams, but during the ruckus, Eddie Dennis sucker punches Mark Davis in the back of the head, and Aussie Open end up joining the brawl too. 50 rated segment, which is good. Then in a backstage promo, Jen welcomes back Mad Marley Quinn, but before she can really get a word in, Jake the Snake appears and warns Marley to stay away from Crazy Mary Dobson. Makito then shows up, as her and Mad Marley Quinn have a little bit of unfinished business, since it was in a match with Maki Ito that Marley Quinn suffered her fractured skull. And Marley Quinn promises that she will make it to the pay-per-view to beat Maki Ito. 83 rated, Maki Ito was superb without a script, I'm not surprised. God, she's good. Next up then, in the first of the qualifying matches, Zia defeats Tessa Blanchard in 15:28 with a surprise roll-up. Tessa 55, Zia 46, 52 overall, and Natalia did some good work at ringside. Going to keep Natalia with Zia until she is officially dropped down, just to give her a little bit more of a boost. Post-match then, Tessa fucking loses it and attacks everyone. Attacks the agents, attacks the referees. It was only until security come and take her away that she is put under control. Don't know why B. Priestley's there. Who's that supposed to be instead? I have no clue. I don't know. Don't know why I put B. Priestley there. Must have miskeyed. Anyway, 83 because Conor McGregor did the talking. Next up then, Mad Marley Quinn defeated Maiko Satomura with a guillotine choke. Marley Quinn had a 44, Maiko had a 62, 54 overall, which is good. Then in our main event, Claudio no, that's not right. Sorry. In our main event, Will Hobbs defeated Claudio Castagnoli with a frog splash after James Storm attacked Claudio, breaking a beer bottle over his head, and that officially turns James Storm heel. Claudio a 66, Will Hobbs a 57, 62 overall. Pretty damn good. Post-match then, Jay Lethal comes out and celebrates with Will Hobbs, trying once again to try and woo him. Is that the right word? To woo him into being his muscle. But again, Hobbs rejects him. Jay Lethal then low blows Will Hobbs, kicks him square in the balls, and leaves him lying, screaming at him that he's the franchise player, he should be begging to join him, and walks away, leaving a downed Will Hobbs in the ring to close the show. 63 overall, Jay Lethal, very good on the mic. And that is the show, 67 overall, which is good. Not as good as we have been performing, but putting Will Hobbs in the main event probably lowered it a wee bit than we're used to. But still, 67, that's a very good score. So, only news then coming out of our tapings is that Lance Archer has rejoined Impact. He was obviously, many years ago, Lance Hoyt, back when it was TNA. And that's not good for us. And I'll tell you why. I was kind of doodling up who I thought was going to be in our Rev Pro Great British Tag Team League. Whatever the tournament's called. The Tag Team Tournament. And I was like, I have Davey Boy Smith. And Lance Archer's unemployed. Fuck me, I could get Killer Elite Squad in that. That'd be a great wee addition to that. So they were going to be first seed in the Great British Tag League. And you're like, well, why can't he still be? I'll tell you why he still can't be. Because Impact run on a fucking Tuesday. And that's when we do the Rev Pro tapings. Oh, you dig. Scott D'Amore, you are a dig. So yeah, that's not happening anymore. Because actually, I wanted Motor City Machine Guns in it as well. And that didn't happen either because of Impact. Impact are proving to be the biggest fucking pain in the ass in terms of trying to get the Great British Tag League sorted. But yeah, so that's not happening. Disappointing. Well, folks, that is it for another week. So this is the first episode I've recorded since we went on that wee break. So thank you very much for your patience. I do appreciate it. Just a lot of things going on between going away on holiday, work being very busy for myself, and I also feel like with Nick doing his Williams to World Championship and the F1 Manager long play, I don't feel as much pressure that I have to get one of these out every week. So that's a massive pressure off of me. Plus it means I could come back a bit refreshed. Seriously, thank you very much for your patience on this. I really appreciate it. There's been a couple of comments asking about database and picture profile or picture packs. I left a link to the picture pack on the Frostbite episode, so if you are looking for the picture pack, this is one I've kind of added to just as I've continued to play the game over the years. So it has Notorious in there. It also has a couple of other companies that aren't in the game that I've just had in previous games. So I did a Triple H Splinters Off from WWE save, and it's got all the stuff from there. I think I called it Pro Wrestling Evolution, Pro Wrestling Evo, and all the stuff's in there for it. So there'll be some random crap in there. And then the database, to get to the or to export a game to a database, has to be the first day of a month, so the first Monday of a month. I was unfortunately already past that whenever the request was put in, but come March 2023 I will try and stop on the Monday and export a database that'll be downloadable. So if you want to start your own Notorious universe or just play in the Notorious universe, you can, hopefully. If I don't fuck it up. If I don't fuck it up and delete off Notorious. Fuck, imagine if I fucking delete Notorious. That'd be the most fucking anticlimactic end to a save ever. That's enough of me rambling. As always, if you have enjoyed this episode, leave a like and subscribe to the Bash Bros channel for more Notorious and other great shows. Like the Game of the Years, that'll be coming up soonish. If you have any ideas for tag teams, feuds, stables, storylines, put them in the comments and I will try and book that for you. Next one coming up is the Grado and Martin Kirby tag team request, and that'll be a part of the Great British Tag League. So thank you very much for watching. With all that being said, I will see you next time on Bash Bros.